Hi, today we want to talk about how to handle tricky interview situations, specifically when the interviewer's behavior might be putting you off a little bit.
Yes, this is something that comes up all the time. These
Mhm.
questions that we're going to share with you today around these particular instances, situations that can happen, are something that our students bring up all the time. And so having the information to know how to handle it is a great tool to have in your toolbox. All right. So the first one is, what do you do when the interviewer is late and cut you off?
Yeah, so
Give the example.
yeah, so I would say so first of all, many times an interview has a set time. For a first interview with a recruiter, it might just be 25 or 30 minutes. You might have 45 to an hour. But if the interviewer shows up 15 minutes late and then ends on time,
Right.
in the example of the recruiter, that could be a 10-minute interview. So how do you handle it?
Right.
Well, most people would handle it by just saying, thank you so much, I understand, and leave.
Right.
Or turn the Zoom screen off if
Right.
it's a Zoom interview. But that doesn't show a whole lot of self-respect.
Or confidence.
Exactly. And one of the things we teach in our programs is setting professional boundaries. And one way to set a professional boundary is to show that that's really not okay. But of course, in a friendly way. So let's say this happens with you and me.
Okay.
And you end on time. I would just say very kind of presumptively, Kelley, I've really enjoyed this conversation and I look forward to continuing it since we had to cut it short today due to your delay. Would you like to schedule that now or should we wait and talk, next week or whatever?
Right. Right. Or should I follow up with an email?
Yeah, exactly. But the key is I am calling her on it. I'm not waiting till the interview's over to email her this while we're still engaged, either on the phone, the screen, or in person, saying, Kelley, I understand you got delayed, but when can we resume this conversation so we can get this full time together?
Right.
To really get to know each other.
Exactly.
Okay.
So what that's ultimately doing is it's showing a form of confidence. It's also setting a boundary, teaching people how to treat you.
Yes. And also reminding the interviewer that you don't know enough about me yet.
Right.
To make a decision because you've only spent 10 minutes with me.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. What happens when the interviewer is distracted or maybe interrupts with like texts and calls?
Yeah,
And, in this technology world, we know how this goes.
That is so rude.
Right.
And it is a more difficult one.
Okay.
And you're much, much less likely to call someone out on that because it could seem kind of rude on your part to call it out.
Yep.
But again, the way you do it can make it less so. And by doing it, you are showing self-respect and confidence. So in a situation like that, the person usually apologizes. And I would say, oh, I understand. There's certainly these things happen. After it happens a couple of times and they apologize again, say, you know what? I really want to make sure that we have this time together. We both can be focused. And I know what it feels like to have lots of distractions weighing on you. Would it be better if we just reschedule this so that we can really focus on this interview and not have you feeling like you're being pulled in both directions? And I want you to notice about my tone and my face. It was concern for
empathy,
him.
empathizing
Right.
with, yes.
For the interviewer. It wasn't like, what the heck? You're not even listening to me. So tone and affect is everything if you're going to call someone out on that. But you know what? You owe yourself a proper interview.
Absolutely.
That person, and for all you know, that person's getting called by their mother's oncologist or something.
Who knows?
Exactly. So approaching it with empathy, letting them know that you're concerned and that you want to help them manage their time so that you can really make sure that your time together is used to its best effect is the best way to handle it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the last one we get all the time is the interviewer doesn't turn on their Zoom screen. Yeah. I mean, think about that. You're already so stressed about showing up to the interview yourself. You've practiced, you've prepared, and you get to the interview. And this happens.
Happened yesterday. We heard from a student.
Yes. Where you show up and the person interviewing you doesn't turn on their Zoom screen. Here is a great way to handle that. Okay.
So kind of two ways. The way I recommended for the student was to say, let's say you're on the screen with the camera off. Kelley, you forgot to turn your camera on. I'll just wait a second till you get it on because I'm excited to meet you.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so that kind of calls her out because...
But in a friendly, it could be a complete mistake type way. Yes.
Exactly. It's assuming it's a mistake. It probably isn't because too often this happens. But because I'm approaching it that way, it's friendly, it's light, and I'm just assuming you made a mistake. So that's one way to handle it. Another way to handle it would be if they say, well, no, I'm going to keep my screen off. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't realize we were doing screen offs. That's fine. I'll turn mine off too.
Yeah.
Because that again is showing confidence. That again is showing that I matter too. Another way to handle that in a more of a questioning way would be, would you prefer to do this interview with cameras off? As your cameras off, would you prefer to do this interview with cameras off?
Yeah.
Instead of
Assuming that there maybe is a
Right.
mistake that's happened.
or assuming that they want theirs on or theirs off and yours on.
Yeah.
So within those three ways of handling it, there should be something that would make you comfortable. And in all three examples, you're setting that professional boundary.
Yeah.
It's not okay to treat
Yeah.
me like I'm somehow less and I'm in the hot seat and you're not.
Yeah.
Um,
And you're showing confidence and you are really having integrity with yourself.
right. And you're
And
also
your own worth.
also, I think, protecting the integrity of the interview.
Absolutely.
Because if you're on a video platform, the whole idea is that you can see that person,
Yes.
interact with them,
Yes.
and you want to put the best foot forward.
Absolutely. So there you have it. How to handle tricky interview situations. If you liked what you heard today or you want to learn more about us, you can visit us at www.preparetolaunchu.com. Thanks.